This edition of The Road to Laugh Tale is about to slap, man. The moment that I clicked on the link, the moment that the page opened, before I could even go down, my screen started shaking. It started cracking, and I was like, yo, what's going on? I know I got Shanks behind me, but what's going on? And I look down, and I see Shanks' scarred eye, and on the other side, Mr. himself. And I'm like, whoa! Road to Laugh Tale Volume 2. 2 emperors have fallen. Is a global upheaval inevitable? Let's continue our adventure to uncover the secrets of One Piece. And here we go, Volume 2 of the Road to Laugh Tale. If this is your first Road to Laugh Tale video, what this basically is while One Piece is on this month break, we are going to be reading and discussing here on the channel the Road to Laugh Tale series that they're going to be releasing every single week while the series is on break, to produce and give us something to talk about, you know, certain ideas that never made it into the original story, a recap for things that we already know, and just giving us, at least if it's based off of the way the part 1 went, a proper timeline for things that went down. It's a great refresher for pieces of the lore that perhaps we haven't seen in quite some time. And so, Road to Laugh Tale, is that Kaido? That's definitely Kaido, man. I know those horns anywhere. That's most certainly my dog, Kaido. And we see Blackbeard and let's go! So we got Shanks and Blackbeard, One Piece next, One Piece deep, a broken balance to world and chaos. Then the remaining emperors, Blackbeard and Red Hair. Sword Grades and Concept Gallery Treasure Volume 2. Let's go, man. So here we got the next generation storms in as a prelude to the world's collapse, deciphering the future of One Piece next. And we see Kaido and Big Mom, 2 emperors have fallen. Kaido and Big Mom have been defeated. How will the world react to this upset? The remaining emperors, the worst generation, the former warlords, the marines, and the revolutionaries are all caught in this wild storm. So we have Law and Kid's tag team attack from chapter 1040 on the right. And on the left we have the ginormous Giga Punch, the Bajrang gun, coming in from Luffy to Kaido, as he states, where my friends can eat. And then we see New Generation as we see Law, Kid, and Luffy. I love this. I love this. And then we go right over. Whoa! We turn the page and we get to see the Goro says. Equilibrium cannot be maintained forever. The time has come for a great cleansing. Scoop number 1. Oh, we got big news. Morgan's like the biggest scoops coming out of the Reverie. Scoop number 1. Sabo Status. Uproar on day 4 of the Reverie. The Revolutionary Army attacked Mighty Joe on a gambit to rescue their comrade Kuma, who was enslaved by the Celestial Dragons. The papers covered the showdown between the Revolutionaries and Navy Admirals, and they also said something unusual about Sabo. So, the fact that the Revs boxed Fujitora and Green Bull, and then we saw the way in which Green Bull was moving here at the end of Wano, and Fujitora was moving in chapter 956. So it's like, Admirals are nasty. The Admirals are nasty. We gotta see how Sabo, Lindbergh, Karasu, Morley, and the squad fared, but man, that had to have been quite a showdown, you know, because we remember back when Sabo was boxing Fujitora back in Dressrosa, you know, they were going in. But to have 2 admirals there, I mean, yo, I know the Revolutionary commanders are nasty, but they ain't that nasty. They ain't that nasty, man. Not for 2? And we're seeing what Green Bull's doing right now? That had to have been just a clash. There's no way they were boxing for real. There's no way they were boxing for real, man. They would be dead. They would be dead, son. So we looked on everyone that knows Sabo is shocked. Members of the Revolutionary Army and familiar faces from his hometown in the Goa Kingdom are visibly shaken by the news. And of course, the reason why we all believe this to be the case, at the very least in our community, is because we believe that what it states in the paper is that Sabo was framed for killing Cobra and is currently and has kidnapped Vivi, right? So he's on the run with Vivi. That is the common thought within our community. And of course, this is Oda, so he's probably going to break our ankles. But I definitely see it being in that ballpark, because it just makes too much sense. And we know that Oda is writing this series for a big audience, right? And I know a few people in real life who actually believe that Sabo is potentially dead. So whatever Oda's cooking with this, with this Sabo stuff, whether we're right or not, I want a front row seat. I already paid my ticket to sit at the restaurant. I'm trying to eat the full course meal. I'm trying to get the appetizer, the dinner, the breakfast, the lunch. I'm trying to try out everything on the menu. I want it all. I want it all. Everything that has to do with Sabo, I'm in there. Especially if it has a connection to Instant Messenger Sama walking with Vivi's picture going and sitting on the empty throne. Right, especially if we know that that's going to connect to the light that must be extinguished, as well as the Great Cleansing, and what we all assume to be or at least what I assume to be Dragon's declaration of war that is going to be coming in soon against Instant Messenger Sama. And so all of this, we know the Revolutionary Army is going to have a major role to play in the final saga, and if Sabo is going to be kickstarting that off with Vivi Greatness, Cobra dying for what he wanted to talk about, which I hope we get a flashback to. I really hope we get a flashback to that scene of him bringing something up, and they're like, yo, execute him. Execute him, or we're blaming it on Sabo. You know, like, I want to see all of that take place, if that is in fact what took place. I really want to go back in time, see what took place there, and to lead us into where we are now. Now, in terms of where the Sabo stuff is going to resume, I would not be surprised if we come back and we see the Sabo stuff, but because we're coming off a 1 month break, I know everybody who's going to want to see the Strats, myself included, we're hopefully going to go around the world, see the reactions to the new Yonko stuff, right? So the very first chapter back could be seeing the Strats for this party as Green Bull pulls up, or if we want to go around the world, right, we go and we see Shanks' reaction to Luffy now becoming a great pirate. We might see Blackbeard's reaction to this and see what he's currently up to, right? We'll see Buggy's reaction to him being a Yonko, which is going to be amazing. But in the midst of all of that, obviously, we need to see what happened with Sabo. And when we cut to that and we follow it from Sabo's perspective, I do wonder how he's going to handle the flashback section to catch us up to how it got to that point, if he even does that. So I'm excited. That's one of the plot lines that I have the most interested in. And the thing is with Morgan's, right, look at this. A fatality, the voting results, and an attempted murder. So 3 things: a fatality, the voting results, and attempted murder. So a fatality means someone got smoked. An attempted murder means that someone, you know, it was an assassination attempt, which both of those, I believe, has to do with Sabo and Cobra, right? Now, with the voting results, that has to be with Reverie, or with the, well, of course with the Reverie, but with the Shichibukai, right? For the abolishment of the Shichibukai system. Or that there was a vote that took place where everybody would keep quiet about this, or something. I don't know, man, but I'm interested. An incident concerning the Kingdom of Alabasta, which, come on, you know, it's clear as day that something took place there with Cobra, right? After Vivi bonded with Shirahoshi in the Holy Land, something happened to her home. Even Garp is uneasy. What could have happened to Alabasta? Now, something with Garp's statement that has always stuck with me is when Garp tells Shirahoshi, you know, like, it was something along the lines of, don't hate the humans, right, for this statement. Don't allow this to be something that takes away the progress. So this is just me, you know, putting in my own words, but, you know, don't allow what I'm about to tell you take away from the progress that was done here by Luffy, right? Like, don't allow this to ruin your image of humans, which means that what's happening right now with Alabasta is crazy. And I love how episode 957, we got the filler stuff, the filler sequences with that incredible episode that did show us Alabasta, the individuals of Alabasta, right? So it's like, I just can't wait, man. The abolishment of the Shichibukai system, like, dude, Mihawk, Buggy, Hancock, and Weevil, I cannot wait to see all 4 of them. Now, Weevil, probably the one I'm least interested in regards to, we know he's going to have some sort of role to play, but because of my connections to the other 3, man, yo, Mihawk's a given. When we see Mihawk again, when we see this man again, they're going to be surrounded by destroyed ships, bodies, and this man having just thrown down with everyone that even comes close to him. It's just roaming on these seas, solo dolo, anybody that comes at him is just getting waxed. I mean, this is an emperor-level individual moving solo dolo without the restraints of the Marines anymore. He's no longer a Shichibukai. He does not have to play by the rules no more, man. He's out here. He's a wanted man. And I dare anyone to pull up on him. If they ain't Admiral level, keep them home. For Mihawk, if they ain't Admirals, keep them home. That's it. Protect the families. Protect the Vice Admirals. Protect the captains. Protect them all. Protect the ships. Protect all of those individuals. Allow them to go back home safely to their families. Because if you send them to Mihawk, it's over. They ain't going back home. So you better just send them all home now or send them to somebody else. Because once again, if they're not an Admiral, don't even make them look in Mihawk's direction. It just don't make no sense. If I'm a Kainu, I'm like, I'll go there myself. I'm not sending y'all. That's Mihawk. That's Dracu Mihawk. Don't send fodder. They're just going to get wrecked. You could send 20 battleships. My man's going to get you attention them down the middle. On the water. Come on, man. Stop playing with my dog, bro. Stop playing with my dog, man. If it ain't an Admiral, keep him home. Hancock. Unless something happened there with Kobe in regards to whether they were actually boxed. Like, if they actually boxed, that would be crazy. And of course, we'd have to see the aftermath of what actually took place there. And I know that that Oda wants to, raise the stock of Kobe. So Kobe taking on Hancock, it could be something like Kobe. Because the thing is, because we're so close to the end of the series, Kobe, which of course has insane potential, this could be his first massive W. My whole thing is, Hancock has been portrayed to be so powerful that the way that Kobe is right now, I just don't see him beating Hancock the way that we've seen Kobe up to this point, unless he just got a spike as big as Luffy did it right now against Kaido, right? Where he just was able to go in like so more and take out Hancock. The only way that I see the papers stating Kobe defeated Hancock is if Hancock allowed herself to be defeated in order for their plan they're concocting to go help Luffy to continue. But if Kobe actually did 1v1 Hancock and it was a shoot and it worked, I would see it, or I can see it in regards of, like I said, the potential. Right? Like, this is an individual with insane amounts of potential that we know has only continued to get stronger and stronger as the series has progressed. And if this is going to be his first major W taking down Hancock, then, I could see that being the case. But it's just that Hancock's too soup. Like, she's too nasty. She's way too nasty. Stop playing with my girl, man. She's too nasty. And so I wonder how that's going to play out. And then, of course, now going to Buggy. I love Kev DOG's theory. Because I've been thinking a lot about, why Buggy became an emperor, how he became an emperor. And because it's something we've been talking about for so long, right? Like, it's a possibility. But I love Kev DOG's theory in regards to the Buggy situation, where he was like, maybe they pulled up on the island full of lead, and in the papers it states that Buggy took over Blackbeard's territory, because when he got to the island full of lead, he was like, oh man, this is Blackbeard's territory. And then the rest of his people were like, yo, Blackbeard ain't here. We can take over. They're gone. And Buggy was like, what? Say less. And went up in like swimwear and took up the entire island. I could most certainly see that being a possibility, right? I love that. Shout out to Kev DOG. That was a great theory. But in regards to the other theories of Mihawk and Hancock potentially joining Buggy's crew, I mean, I could see that happening just off of just from a comedic standpoint, and just to keep the Shichibukai system in order. Mihawk, like I've always said, I don't see Mihawk joining anyone in regards to, I can see him aligning himself with someone, like I can see him aligning himself with Buggy or with Shanks, but I see Mihawk staying solo dolo until the end of the series, and that's just because of my own personal headcanon when it comes to the way that Zoro is going to take on Mihawk at the very end. Mihawk, being someone who has been at the very top by himself for so many years, is going to be fighting an individual that not only has his own dreams and ambitions, but the dreams and ambitions of the people who that he loves so much, right? Like the dreams and ambitions of Kuina, the dreams and ambitions of Luffy, and of the rest of the squad. So it's like the weight on Zoro's blades are going to be 100 times more than when they first fought back in chapters 51 and 52. So it's like that to me has always been my headcanon. It's going to be Zoro and the weight of the blades of everyone that he's currently fighting for, along with his ambitions, of course, at the very top. But that's always to me been a representation of why he has 3 blades, right? Because it's more than just his own dream. He's fighting for his own dream and the dreams of others. And so there's a lot more weight to those blades. Going against Mihawk's solo blade, which we don't know what Mihawk's story is. We don't know what his flashback is. We don't know what his journey to the top was. All we know is that once he reached that pinnacle, my man was solo at the very top until someone came along like a Zoro that challenged him and allowed that excitement to come back. Because he even states in 956, this is the first time that he's been chased in a long time. You know, he's chilling at this point. Like, yo, I'm at the very top. I reached the pinnacle. And then Shanks is out here doing his thing. You know, they used to have those daily duels, but they're not doing it anymore. So it's like he doesn't really have someone out here to fight for the title. And so when Zoro comes forward, and not only is he coming forward, like I said, with his own ambitions, he's coming at it with Kuina's. He's coming at it with Luffy's. He's coming at it with the rest of the squads and his own. And so that's why I personally think that Mihawk is going to stay solo dolo until the end of this series. But like I said, I can see him aligning himself with a Buggy, with a Shanks, of course with us at the end, right? But before he faces Zoro, I don't see it. I don't see him joining any other team. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, this is Mr. Ankle Breaking Oda, as I was saying. But Hancock, I can most certainly see just for those two working together in order to get back to the king. I can most certainly see that. But even Hancock, I'm like, nah, she's probably not going to join either. So that's just my personal take on that theory. That because you know we've all been trying to put together why it is that Buggy became an emperor, and I think it's going to go. It's going to be, for me, the same thing with Buggy as it is with Blackbeard. I think that both Buggy and Blackbeard have gained more notoriety that we do not know of yet. Buggy, of course, it could be, like Kev DOG said, taking over territories. The individuals in the who are currently naming the 4 emperors, they're like, yo, this is the other individual out there that can pose a massive threat to us. He has this crazy ability to make people follow him in the same way that the king does, right? In the same way Luffy does. So it's like he has this unique well, not unique. It was unique to him and Luffy in very different ways, but he makes people follow him. Like, people want to follow Buggy. And so because of that, he's amassing a massive army under him. And we don't know which individuals are currently there, right? Now, when it comes to Blackbeard, with this whole Aokiji situation, if that actually ends up coming out, and that actually ends up entering the paper, that's going to raise his stock. I don't care if Blackbeard has done anything or not. And we know that Blackbeard's currently on the move. We know that he's on the move to collect something. We don't know what that something is. We don't know if he's coming right now to Onigashima in order to collect Pluton, right? We don't know if he's heading to Shirahoshi in order to collect Poseidon, or if he's going for Uranus, he's going for a fruit. We don't know. The only thing we know is that Blackbeard is on the way to collect something. But even on top of that, if word gets out that Aokiji is on that man's squad, then brother, when we come back and we actually get to see Blackbeard's bounty now, like I was saying in the bounty predictions video, I could see his bounty being the highest bounty of active emperors right now, and of the active pirates. Because if Shanks doesn't move, I mean, Shanks right now has the highest bounty of the ones that we know. But if Blackbeard is going to be the most dangerous pirate that we have to overcome here at the very end, then it's going to end up being a situation where they're going to have to raise this man's bounty, right, up to where it's supposed to be. So it's like it's going to be right under Shanks, or it's going to be a little higher, just due to the threat that they know that Shanks and the Gordo say, Shanks and the Marines, they can negotiate. They can't negotiate with this man. They can't. Blackbeard is too goated. You know, he's too nasty in that regard. He's too nasty in that regard, right? In the regard of ultimate opportunist, you can't predict him. That is his ultimate, like, that's the thing that he holds over them, where they can't control him. They once tried to make him a Shichibukai, and what did he do? Took Whitebeard's fruit right out from under him. You know what I'm saying? And so he's done the things that he's put into motion. He's too big of a threat. And once they find out that Aokiji is under his crew, and he potentially gets an ancient weapon, I mean, you gotta raise his bounty. You gotta raise his bounty now. And so then, an even more pressing crisis: what will become of the world now that the two emperors are beaten? The clash between the new generation and the emperors ended in a shocking upset. The world government conducted clandestine business with the isolated nation of Wano and had designs to bring the country under their thumb. The unexpected resolution to this conflict has driven the world further into chaos. And it's like, man, I'm so excited to see where that chaos goes, man. And here we see Blackbeard and Shanks. Dude, this is one of the things that I am most excited about when it comes to the series, is the eventual clash between these two individuals, the history that's there. Ever since then, one of the things I've been looking forward to the most is the eventual Shanks versus Blackbeard clash. And before Wano, I thought that it was going to happen like post Wano. This is going to be our Ace versus Blackbeard for the final saga. It was going to be Shanks versus Blackbeard, but of course that could have still end up being the case, but at this point it's not looking very likely. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see these two go at it, man, because you know it's bound to happen, and it's going to be legendary. Like, yo, those chapters are going to be peak fiction, man, no doubt. No doubt. The two legends. Expending his influence with cunning plots, he runs amok searching for even more power. Excuse me, Blackbeard has already amassed great powers as an emperor, but his appetite knows no bounds. And he keeps pushing ahead, constantly aiming for the top. His mocking laugh echoes throughout an uncertain age. He seeks to get a real kick out of the chaotic news stories. Could all these big-scale pirate fuse to be part of some elaborate scheme? You already know. He sets sail from full of lead. What could this ambition plan be after? And we know that's exactly what they're going after, right? So, the 10 Titanic captains behind Blackbeard, a sinister band largely composed of heinous convicts. Not only that, their fighting capabilities have been enhanced by stolen devil fruits. Second ship captain, Shiryu of the flipping raid. First ship captain, helmsman Burgess. That man is definitely, without question now, boxing. Also, with this, we can actually officially see the matchup. So, helmsman, that's going to be Jinbei. So, helmsman Jinbei. Second ship, of course, Shiryu and Zoro. Von Augur, obviously, Usopp. So Lafitte, now this is interesting. Lafitte is going to be against Nami as the navigator. And then, of course, Katarina Devon is probably going to be against Robin. Then the colossal ship, San Juan Wolf. Eighth ship captain, Vasco Shot. The doctor, so that's, of course, going to be Chopper's fight. And then the ones that we'll have to fill in the blanks for are going to be Avalo Pizarro, Vasco Shot, and San Juan Wolf. And then we have the question mark right here at the bottom. And I don't know why they keep playing, because we already know, man. We've known since Dressrosa. This has been one of the things that I've been most excited for in regards to when this information gets revealed to us. Because honestly, there was a piece in the back of my mind where I was like, in Wano, we're going to see the word Arara pop up. And it's all going to connect. We're going to be like, oh my, they're here. It's going to be an Arara, and then we flip the page, and we're going to hear the zeh, ha, 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 like, yo, they're actually there. And so, let's go, man. You know, that's been a theory that's been around for as long as I've been in the community. And it's been one that I'm just cannot wait to see more of. I'm so excited to see Aokiji again, and especially if he's with Blackbeard, because you already know if he's with Blackbeard, he's doing it with specific intentions in mind. And we know that he's potentially a triple agent working either for the Revolutionary Army, out of his own gain. He's with the Blackbeard Pirates for some type of reason. I don't know. I don't believe that he's actually following. And Blackbeard probably knows that as well, right? That he's not actually under him just to follow him. Like, he's there for his own personal gain. But Blackbeard doesn't give a flying flaggers. And he has an admiral, a former admiral under him, right? So he's like, I don't care. And in that regard, it's like it's so scary. Like, what could happen? And I just can't wait. I can't wait. A dormant lion makes his quiet moves to maintain a dormant lion. That's filthy. Shanks, yo, Shanks! The GOAT! To maintain the world's balance while he spends most of his time in the New World as an observer, the five elders have noted that he can be threatening if pushed. When this man takes action, the ripples spread across. That's fact. Yo, every time Shanks does anything, they're like, report, report! Shanks! Shanks! Like, come on, man. Attending a wedding ceremony. He appeared to have attended a wedding on a desolate island with his crew performing a benediction. Face-to-face meeting with the elders in Marijoa. Why is he allowed to have an audience of the five elders? He really isn't. That's facts, man. Like, why? Why? That's the thing, man. Red Hair's interactions with other dangerous outlaws. He's most familiar to us due to his connection to Luffy, but also feared and targeted as a great pirate. Running with the Kid Pirates. Kid's daring challenge turned into a baptism of fire. Baptism of fire. Yeah! that cost him an arm and a leg almost literally. Yo, we all know what happened, man. Lucky Roo, he bit it off. Yo, Lucky Roo took that man's arm and said, "Arr." He bit that thing up, dog. Trespassing on Red Hair's turf. Not long after the formation of the Grand Fleet, Bartolomeo recklessly entered Shanks' territory and started to say whether he's aware of Luffy's bond with Shanks. And it's like, man, for real though, all these connections. The scar above his left eye ties his fate to Blackbeard's. Their fates appear to be tied together as the two go back to their days as apprentices. And it was Teach who scared Shanks. Will that scar continue to ache? It's like, man, and then right here's the panel from the manga. What consequences will this unusual relationship have on the world? And like, man, yo, it's like, see, when I see Shanks right here, right, I'm telling y'all, Wano raised my hype for specifically Mihawk and Shanks to just the next degree. And you know what? Because my hype for Blackbeard going into the time skip was already extremely high. But this arc also raised my excitement for Blackbeard in terms of just how insane he's about to go in this final saga as well. But when I mean Shanks and Mihawk in particular, is the emphasis on the importance of Conqueror's coding and just hockey in general within this battle, especially when it was noted by Kaido. And when we see what Zoro was doing, just having learned what it did, what Luffy was doing just having learned this, imagine what the masters of this are capable of doing. Like, imagine what Mihawk and Shanks are capable of doing, man. It's crazy out here. It's crazy. Sword grades. Name blades. Among the countless weapons in the world, there are the ones forged by the celebrated master of the art, the 12 supreme Wazamono, the 21 excellent Wazamono, and the 50 fine Wazamono. Let's explore the names and grades of every blade introduced in the series up through chapter 1053. I actually need a refresher on this, man, for sure. Muraku Mogiri, which of course is Whitebeard's. This Naginata's extraordinary durability allowed Whitebeard to channel his full power through it. And then the ace. Roger's ace, yo. Roger's constant companion during his years of adventure, he went on to give its name to his own son. Yo, the Yoru. Yoru, the legend, man. Dracula Mihawk. Black blades are the most elite swords in existence. This particular one is renowned as the world's strongest. It's capable of dispatching challenges with brutality and finesse. Like, yo, what was Mihawk's journey to the top, man? What was its journey to the top, son? Kitetsu 1, Wielder Unknown. Well, you're right, the first Kitetsu and its successors are good blades, but they're all cursed. Rumors about the cursed Kitetsu series are quite prominent, but its location is unknown. Yeah, Kitetsu 1, we really do wonder who has it, right? And of course it's brought up here, we're going to see it in the series, but who has it? The 21 excellent ones, the Wado Ichimonji, of course, Queen Ida Zoro, Amino Habakiri and Enma, Shusui, Kitetsu 2. My dog Zoro is wielding goats. My dog Zoro is out here wielding legendary blades, man. He's too filthy. 50 fine Wazamono, and then of course we see the Yuashiri from back in Logtown. Tashigi's Kashu, Shigure, Kitetsu 3, Lost Kikoku, and these are ungraded. Lost Kikoku, Kaido's Hasaikai, Kinemon's Sukesan and Kukasan, and Kakusan, I apologize. Suji Sibai, that one's Conjuro's. Shanks' Gryphon. Shiki's Auto and Kogurashi. Yo, Auto and Kogurashi was that man's legs. Like, yo, those things put in work. And then Katakuri's Mole. So I'm interested on Gryphon, right? So Gryphon is an unknown grade and that's Shanks' blade. And I wonder why it's kept as unknown, because it is Shanks who's wielding it, and we know that, you know, the other individuals that are mentioned they're on his level have these supreme legendary blades. So I wonder why Shanks in particular is unknown, or maybe that's something that's going to be presented later on in the series, and that's why it's still considered to be unknown, right? That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. So, and of course, it shows all the rest of them that we've seen throughout the series over here. And then the unknown blades like Rayleigh's, Vista's, Isho's, and all of those. Can any sword become a black blade? Many questions still remain unanswered when it comes to blades like Yoru and Shusui. Is hockey alone really enough? Is hockey alone really enough? I mean, we know you got to infuse Conqueror's coding in that thing, but that is true. Is it really enough? What is Oda cooking? What is Oda cooking, man? Concept, look at Kaido. Look at the good Kaido. So we see Kaido. This looks like his hybrid form in concept art. Looking filthy. We see how his hybrid form the hybrid form, ladies and remember that the hybrid form went through multiple different states. So we see the original dragon state, his base state, and then the design for the hybrid state. His human, beast, and hybrid forms can all be seen here. His height was decided to be around 4 Luffy's early on. This collection emphasizes the absolute power of Kaido, King of the Beast. We finally got to see Kaido's go-to hybrid form in his clash with Luffy and the gang. You can almost hear his confident laugh as he gazes upon his mighty frame. That's facts. Kaido favors his dragon talents for battle over his patented war club. Any of these designs would have been fire. Any of these designs would have been fire, man. We could have took a king. Concept versions of the All-Stars, the 3 pillars supporting Kaido. You know, the All-Stars are still something of a mystery, but we can unveil their original concepts today and learn how these 3 distinct characters came to be. So, it looks like Oda always had this idea for King's design to be kind of like this, as we see it down here. Nice. And we get to see it through multiple stages as well. Yeah, King was destined to have a fire design. He was destined to have a peak design, man. We cut over to Queen, see his laser. So we see Jack, King, Queen, Kaido, the strongest team, face cards, ace, shuffle, cut, trick, deck. Oh, that's dope. Yeah, I remember we were all thinking about that back when Jack was first introduced. Like, snap, man. Like, and the connection with Joker, obviously, and all that stuff. So the All-Stars were going to be called the face cards. So that's what they were originally going to be called. And that was the connection that we all made back in Dressrosa. That's dope, man. We see Jack, my dog. So, man, right here, the All-Stars, it looks like theirs was always going to be pretty consistent. Like, Oda had a pretty general idea of what he wanted their designs to be from the very beginning. Well, and we get to see the Tobiropo shedding more light on the quirky flying six. These individuals are legendary. I love them. Of the unique group 8 ancient Zoan fruits. So right here we see page 1 right here, Pepe. We get to see Black Maria. So, I saw this earlier on in the week. I believe it was posted by my man Arthur, where he was talking about how Black Maria was originally going to be like a Stegosaurus, there was a few other things I forgot, but then eventually it went for the, I forgot the exact, it's like a Rosemogoyle or whatever that ancient spider is what Oda ended up going with, which I think fit, especially against the fight with Robin. It most certainly fit there. But you see even the sash fruit right here, a giant golden orb weavers, the yokai, I'd happily die here, and all these scenes right here in concept art. So Black Maria was always going to have a fire design too. It's like page 1, always relatively the same, Black Maria as well. Ulti looks very, very interesting right here in this one. Jidai, the flying Ulti, was originally envisioned as a genderless, almost scarecrow-like character called Jirai. That is a massive change. She was also going to have a top hat too? Like a Sabo type of top hat? That actually looks really cool. I mean, Ulti's design is one of my favorites, so I'm glad we've got. But that hat, if Ulti ever comes back in the series, give her that hat. The hat looks dope. And we were cut over the Who's Who looks relatively the same right here as well. Who's Who was once Baigo, a practitioner of a 2-sword style. Nice. And we have Sasaki right here. Sasaki was going to be named Faro instead, but it seems like his Triceratops power was already set. Was he going to be a younger character? Potentially. And of course, X-Drake, who we've known for a very long time. So this is interesting. See, I love stuff like this. And we go to Big Mom. Still making waves in Wano. Big Mom's new wardrobe. Mama. Big Mom has proved to be one of the arc's most threatening adversaries when she joined forces with Kaido. Her Wano design is a total change of pace from Kaido's British build, and intentionally contrasts her comical and deadly aspects, making her even more unnerving. Her deep ties to Kaido. Kaido and Big Mom are both members of the Rock's Pirates. What happened to them on the day that their old crew collapsed? Perhaps there's a hint in the concept art. That is interesting. So that's it for the Road to Laugh Tale Part 2. So this one was much more of a recap for this one, but it allowed for us to have a conversation here in regards to the scoops happening around the world as well as for the Supreme Grade blades. Now, because for me, even though when it comes to the blades, I know most of them. I don't know all of them. Like that's definitely one of the things to where they slip my mind in all of like the Supreme Grade blades and where exactly they end up ranking, whether it be in the 12 or the 21 or the 50 and stuff like that. Like I tend to forget those little small details, but so I'm glad we got that refresher. But in regards to the scoops, all these things, obviously when we come back, we're going to be getting answers for all of these on top of more questions, because this is One Piece we're talking about. But the Sabo Status stuff and the Shichibukai, what's going down with them, and this Alabasta, just everything happening around the world right now is so huge that I'm glad they presented this panel to us so we could have that conversation here. Because it's just, this is going to be one of those topics that we're going to continue to talk about until we start seeing some answers, right? And we're hoping that it's going to be soon. But regardless of that, man, that was the Road to Laugh Tale Part 2. Really nice one this week. Like I said, just refreshing us on bits and pieces of information, just putting it all like together, what we should look forward to here in the coming chapters, as well as, you know, some concept art and stuff like that for what initially was going to be some of these characters, like some of the Tobiropo and the All-Stars and whatnot. So seeing stuff like that is always really dope. But I can't wait, man. When One Piece comes back and we start getting to see some of this stuff, and we go back around the world, man, those chapters, those are going to be non-stop peak. So let me know what y'all thought about this and any additional thoughts on the big scoops happening around the world, Shanks versus Blackbeard and all of that awesomeness going on there. But until next time, I will see y'all. This has been the Recon's Piece. Have an awesome, awesome day. Take care. One Piece greatness, y'all. Can't wait.